Good morning, Foxes, and welcome to Art Starters. This is Miss Rankin, and what we're going to be doing today is we're going to work on Zentangles. And most of you guys have done some Elmo time with me before, but we are working on this. And what we're going to start with is a Zentangle, which is one of the coolest things that I can teach you as far as a stream of consciousness to work on. It's in the form of a doodle. And a lot of times people do this just to calm themselves, calm their nerves. It's a meditative thing. And so if you really concentrate on what you were doing and just kind of let your brain take over, you just start making marks onto a paper. And it can be a pattern. It can be basically a free-flowing movement of sorts. And a lot of people need a mark to start with. You can start any way you want to. I'm going to start with just a free flowing mark there on my paper, and then from there I'm just going to start branching out. And you don't want to think about this too much. I know a lot of people want to make a subject matter, like, hey, I want to make a dog or a cat or whatever. You just need to start working, and what will happen is your brain kicks in and takes over. So I'm going to just begin working, and sometimes it's better just not to talk, but you just kind of start trying to do repetitive patterning as you go. And most of my students that I've had in the past have done Zentangles before, so they're very much aware of this. But if you are new, or if you just need a refresher, this is what we call a free flow or free form Zentangle, because it just starts happening. And so what I'm doing is I am just working off of my first original little doodle, I guess, and then I'm just filling it in as I go. One of the cool things about this is as you go, you start creating a pretty cool pattern. It can branch out into be different things. I am actually using one of these micron pens because it is really pretty cool to utilize. From here, I'm going to do the same thing again, and I am really trying not to think of it too much, but I'm just kind of making a few marks, and sometimes it's cool to just kind of let them do their own thing, and there's no wrong or right way to do this. The only thing I will say is when you get further into your design, you want to try to make sure you have some positive and negative space in it. Positive and negative space, basically, the positive space is the space that is filled in. The negative space is the space that's empty. So you maybe want to think of it as a black and white thing. So, you know, you want to fill in. And I'm not necessarily saying fill it in solid, but you could fill it in with pattern, shapes, and designs as you go. I'm going to go ahead while I'm doing this and just put some of my free-flowing lines on there, so then I know I can go back and fill these in. And I'm just working, and I would continue to do this, and I could break the plane into several different directions. I could just branch from this and create more patterns as I go. And an example of a pattern would be maybe if I did a pattern like this, do stripe and a line, stripe and a line, stripes and a line, stripes. You know, just continue with that type of pattern. I could change the pattern as I went on, or I could use the same one. And then you would want to maybe do some things like positive, negative space. So if I start filling my positive, negative space in with the use of line, see how that just became a gray area? So opposed to coloring it in completely, I am opting to make a pattern in it. Now, if I did want to color it in completely, I could, but if I put spots back in the center here that I created black, you know, so that's one way to solve the problem of making it too busy. Another thing I could do is, what if I made it furry around the edges, you know, kind of some kind of fuzz going on. It kind of has the appearance now of a peacock feather, you know, and I'm just kind of rolling with it. That's the thing about a Zentangle, is there's no wrong or right ways to do it. But I would just repeat my design as I go. Okay, so this is an example of just kind of filling one section in, and I would go back in and fill it in again. Here's an example of something that I did earlier, and so you have a pretty good example. So what you would like, or what I would like you guys to do for this particular thing is get a piece of paper, blank piece of paper, make a squiggle, and then work from that squiggle however it turns out. There's no wrong or right way to do it. You just try to get into the zen, or the focus of things, and let your mind go. And remember that you're doing tangles of line, and it is a free form movement and pattern exercise. So in saying that, I am going to tell you guys to have a great day and happy drawing.